Hi, I'm Alana.
And I'm Jared.
Welcome to the Nightly News Remote Learning Edition. This weekend's forecast looks beautiful. Get outside and enjoy the sunshine. Today we're happy to share our first episode of Cooking with the Colonel. RFA J. ROTC's Colonel Tracy shares some meal prep ideas to get the year started.
Welcome to Season 2 of Cooking with Colonel. So we're back at school. I cut my hair, I shaved, even though we're still just doing the virtual or remote learning, but had to do that anyway. So this episode is going to be, I'm going to show you what I do to prep for lunch for the week. As my lunch partners can tell you, I eat the same thing pretty much every day. So chicken, so I have chicken breasts, got the oven preheated. I'm going to throw that in there, and then I will show you the rest when that's all done. See you in a bit. Okay, back with Cooking with Colonel. I've made chicken breasts. I've already cut up some. I have these handy dandy little trays that help you portion control. So one of the smaller compartments goes chicken. So there's my protein. I need a paper towel. The other compartment, I made up some brown rice. It's got turmeric in it, so that's why it's like a weird yellow color. So don't worry, it'll soften up once I microwave it during lunch. Fill up the other compartment, some carbs, throw in some liquid aminos, a little splash of that, and give it some flavoring. And then the bigger compartment's for like vegetables. I have cut up bell peppers, different colors, green, orange, red. Those left over from the end of last week, so instead of putting them in there, because I'm going to microwave it, I'm just going to put it in a plastic bag, a couple handfuls. Looking ahead, there's some butternut squash. That could be the next Cooking with Colonel. So again, if I were to put that in there, that would pretty much fill that up. And that's my lunch for the week. I will do that for the rest of the week. I have more chicken, I got peppers, once they're gone, like I said, I'll make the squash, and I have rice. So that's Cooking with Colonel, episode 1 of season 2, lunch. The joke. What's this joke? Oh, why do chicken coops only have 2 doors? Because if they had 4, they'd be called chicken sedans.
Thank you, Colonel Tracy. That looks healthy and delicious. Next week is our virtual spirit week. Remember to send your pics to RFA staff's social media pages.
We spoke with Superintendent Mr. Blake and Athletic Director Mr. Stamboly about the upcoming sports season and what it will look like.
So when Section 3 made their decisions about fall athletics, I met with our athletic director, Mr. Stamboly, and together we talked about what we think we can pull off in Rome, what's suitable, what can we do in the short time frame, and essentially what we think we can do in a safe manner, reasonable manner, and really work within our fiscal restraints that we have is to operate our varsity athletics that would normally operate in the fall season, absent obviously football, volleyball, and cheerleading, as well as our JV program.
The coaches have all been notified. They've reached out to all of the student athletes who have signed up. And we're looking forward to getting back to some sort of normality with those restrictions in place. And we'll talk about those restrictions. So we have the 6 feet social distancing that everybody heard about. If you're not 6 feet, you have to wear a mask. If it's a mask that a certain individual cannot tolerate, they can take that mask off. They call it a mask break. All right, and then once they feel comfortable, they can put that mask back on. The athletes will come to the facility dressed, ready to go. When the competition is over, when the contest is over, they will simply leave the facility, go home with their equipment on. So the sports that will start in the fall will be obviously boys and girls varsity soccer and JV soccer, girls JV and varsity field hockey, boys and girls cross country, girls swim, and girls tennis. So we're talking about football and competitive cheer. We play volleyball in the winter where Syracuse schools play in the fall. So it won't affect us. Our schedule is made up of a hybrid of schools up north and local Tri-Valley League schools. But football and competitive cheer will be moved to a fall 2 season, which will start March in 2021. I know that the section and our league has looked at dates that we're going to try to put in place that won't overlap. The big issue is the overlapping. And the reason for that is because shortage of officials now, that if those seasons, that fall 2 season runs into the spring, one, we're going to have a shortage of officials. We won't be able to start a contest. And so that is something that we're looking at. But the second and the most important thing is that it's going to put our student athletes in a position where they're going to have to choose what sport they want to play. And we don't want to do that. So we're going to try to look at a 8 to 10 week season for fall 2 and for spring, because our winter will run into that fall 2 season, which will start in March. So we're hoping to shorten that winter season to a 10-week period, look at trying to do something in a fall 2 season, which will be a 10-week period, and then go right into our spring season, which will take us probably mid-July, which is something we have never done before, on Monday. The holdup right now is the striping and the finish work, which is putting up the netting system on both ends of the end zone and the field goal posts. So those have to go in. And then the striping and painting of the track is the last stage to finish the track. So we're going to work around those construction companies that are coming in, but as long as we have days that they're not here, we can certainly use that turf, and we plan on using it. So we are currently going to play within just our league, and that league schedule could look like a 10-game schedule or a 12-game schedule, depending on the number of schools that are still within our league or allowed to continue with a fall sport program.
We have 3 JV programs for our athletics in the fall season, which is really minimal when it comes down to it. At this point in time, we chose not to move forward with modified sports for a couple of reasons. One being space to be able to operate the programs and make sure that our facilities are maintained and closed down at an appropriate hour. Transportation and transportation cost expenses play into the modified piece of that quite a bit as well. So one of the things we are looking to do on the modified front is, again, we're looking to get the varsity athletics, the JV athletics off the ground, possibly combine practices as much as possible. You may or may not know there's a lot of restrictions relative to what a practice can look like, how many kids can be involved at a single time, all of those types of things moving forward into the brief 8-week fall season.
Transportation. That was a critical factor in our determination in terms of what we were going to do with the modified programs. And the safety, obviously, was first and foremost, the safety and security of those kids, and the logistics piece in terms of providing transportation from home into practice. That was critical. We looked at putting into place a practice schedule after the parents got out of work. Problem with that is we don't have enough facilities to provide them with lights. So we won't be able to provide them with the opportunity to have a meaningful practice as the practice hours are moved further and further into the later nighttime hours. So those 2 components were critical in our decision making in terms of trying to provide them with something that was meaningful and manageable at the same time. But we just realized that it was something that was logistically impossible to do.
But what we do hope to do is sometime in October offer some form of camp for our modified level athletics, where it might not be a full modified season, but it might offer some opportunity for our younger student athletes to and the chance to get in, train a little bit, practice a little bit, maybe do some internal scrimmaging, which can be done a little bit more safely, a little bit more controlled environment than transporting all around the region and things of that nature. So we are looking to take everything into account, but right now our goal is to get our varsity athletics on the fields playing and our JV students right behind them. And we'll see what the next few weeks brings. Hopefully there aren't any crises or major events that happen that would put a halt to all of this. And we look forward to getting our student athletes up and running in the coming days.
We're looking forward to a great start of the season. Hopefully, as I had indicated, that with the therapeutics, we can get this COVID-19 under control and the kids can finally get back to normal. And we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen, and hope that the state realizes the importance of athletics, especially on our children. And the social emotional piece is critical, and we're aware of that, and so that we want to get those kids back on the playing field as soon as we can. And I think that's interesting and new for everybody, and I think it's based on everything that's happened. I think that we're trying to be as creative as possible, and that basically everything's on the table, that would provide opportunities for these kids.
Remember, RFA, take charge and show some RFA pride. We're all in this together.